I am going to be showing you now how to go through the steps to do a basic park and draft to create yarn on a drop spindle from some prepared fiber. So I've got the green fiber is what I'm working with. And I think of the park and draft as having sort of 6 steps that you're just going to repeat over and over again. The park and draft method is great for learning how to spin and to get these steps practiced individually one at a time. Once you've been spinning a while, to me the goal is to move through this park and draft technique to be able to kind of combine all the steps at once. So this is not going to be my recommendation for you to spin this way forever, but I think it's a great way to practice the steps on their own. So the first step is to hold your spindle still. And to do this, a lot of people will put it under their arm. If you're sitting down, you can put it between your knees. If you're like me and you're up against a table, you can actually put it between your body and the table, just so that your spindle is still and you have 2 hands free to manipulate things. That's our aim here. And so the next step is going to be to draft. And draft just means pull your fiber until it's at the thickness that you want your yarn. So I'm just going to pull it. I'm not going for anything super thin, and you shouldn't be either when you're just getting started. So we've pulled a couple of inches here of fiber, and there's no twist in this. It's just the fluff, but it's about the thickness that we want our yarn to be. So we've drafted our few inches of fiber here. We are going to pinch our fiber at the top. So everything that happens underneath our finger, between our finger and our drop spindle, is going to turn into yarn. Everything that's happening on the other side of this pinched finger is still just going to be our fiber. And that pinch is important because that pinch stops the twist traveling up here. Once twist travels in to your fiber, it's yarn already, and you're not going to be able to draft it anymore, at least not easily at all. So keeping it pinched is going to keep the twist where you want it to make yarn, and out of the area that you don't want it, the area that you haven't done your drafting in yet. So we've held our spindle still, we've drafted a few inches. We are going to now twist our spindle. And so again, we always want to be going the same direction. Traditionally, this would be clockwise, but if you prefer counterclockwise, you certainly can do that. And I'm just twisting my spindle with my hand to put some twist in that fiber. And you can do this with just twisting your hand that way several times so that you're getting comfortable with all of the steps on their own. And you can see now that what I have between my pinched finger and my spindle is yarn. So this isn't just the fluff anymore. This is actually fluff plus twist equals yarn. So this is actually the yarn that I was making. You can see everything on the other side of my finger is still the fluffy fiber. And that's exactly what you want. The next step is to stop spinning your spindle. If you had twisted it in the air, which is certainly another option, to give it a twist with your hand and let it spin in the air, you're going to stop twisting that spindle. So go ahead and stop it. And then you're going to repeat those same 4 steps. So step 1, hold your spindle still. Step 2, draft a few inches. When we're doing that, we need to keep that pinch. So I'm actually going to now pinch it with my other hand, so that I can pull a section out between these 2 hands. So my hand is pinched, the fiber here at the bottom, this hand has pinched that twist, and then my farther away hand is pinching again. And when I let go, if you watch the fiber between my 2 hands, when I let go with that bottom hand, you'll see that twist that has happened already in my yarn at the bottom travels up just a little bit into the yarn that's already there. And then we can do that same thing. If I twist my spindle, you'll see the yarn beginning to form, and you'll notice it looks like it gets thinner. And if you have big chunky spots, so you can see a couple in this yarn that I've got there, those start to thin out and it all starts looking a lot more uniform. And again, you can just twist your spindle with your hand for the first several times that you do that. And now I have yarn. And again, that pinch stops that twist traveling into the fiber that I am not ready to be yarn yet. And now you've got your kind of a comfortable arm's length worth of yarn. You can't make more yarn than you can comfortably kind of hold your spindle and the end of your fiber at the same time. So once you get to this point, what you can do is unhook it from the hook on your spindle and wind it onto the bottom of your shaft. And you're just going to twist your shaft to rotate that yarn right on there. There's not a trick to it. Some people make really beautiful, it's called the cop, where it's under here. You are going to, don't do what I do. Make sure your leader, or the yarn that you have already twisted, make sure it's long enough to get back up through that hook. So I twisted on a little bit too much. I'm just going to untwist a little bit. You're going up and over the edge of your spindle and through that hook. And now you're ready to do those steps again. This time I'm going to show you how to do that. You're still going to be parking and drafting, but we're actually going to do our twist by spinning our spindle and letting the spindle twist instead of by just rotating it with our hands. So step 1, hold your spindle still. Step 2, go ahead and draft out what you want there. So I'm drafting out just a couple of inches. I keep it pinched at the top. And before I twist my spindle, I'm actually going to take the fiber that is not ready to be used yet, and I'm going to hold it in that same hand that's doing the pinch. That way it doesn't get, as I spin things, it doesn't get all tangled up in my spinning. And then I'm going to take the shaft of my spindle, and I'm just going to twist it. And I'm going to let my spindle just rotate, and you'll see it start to slow down, and I'm going to stop it at that point. Once you're letting the spindle twisting on its own do the work, you're making yarn a lot faster because the spindle spins around way quicker than if you're just moving your hand to twist it is going to twist. So once you've got that, again, you stop the spindle twisting, you park the spindle, you draft out, so you pinch, so you've still got your twist trapped so that it doesn't go into here. You're going to draft out a few inches of fiber, pinch it again. You'll see as I let go, the twist travels up to where this top part is pinched. Keep that fiber out of your way. And again, twist your spindle so that it rotates and rotates and rotates until it starts to slow down. And then stop it, park your spindle again, and repeat. Trap the twist, draft a few inches, let go, that twist travels up a little bit, and twist your spindle. And you'll notice the longer that the yarn that you're creating gets, the longer your spindle will spin. Once it starts to go to slow down or go backwards, you're going to stop it with your hands, and you're just going to keep doing that. When you get to a comfortable arm's length, you are going to want to unhook from the hook of your spindle and wind it on underneath. And leave that tail long enough that you can get back up there through your hook. So keep going. So that is park and draft. So you park your spindle and you do your drafting at 2 separate times. And that's how you're gonna create yarn with this method.